I'm super excited talking about self-trust today because it's a big part of my past journey, and it is also a big part of the journey of my clients. So I have so much passion, and you cannot really live a quality life if you don't trust yourself. And if that is your issue, then you know what I'm talking about, and you might be even feeling helpless, like all that the doubt, uncertainty, anxiety that comes with it. You might be even landing in relationship where you're being taken advantage of, or people put you down, and a lot of that is connected to lack of trust. So I will start by giving you the real reason, the main reasons why you don't trust yourself, and later I will tell you how you can change this, because I don't want to leave you with just the reasons. You will learn the ways that you can implement, the ways you can process it, reflect on this, how you can do it in your own life. So let's start with the first very important reason why you don't trust yourself. Well, the main reason is you might be looking outside. You might be caring too much about what other people think. And this is so common. You might say, yeah, I don't really care about what others think. But if you are constantly looking out for direction, if you are constantly seeking approval, like those followers, those likes on your social media platform, those people that will tell you that you are doing a good job, and you constantly have to prove yourself and push yourself, maybe even to the limits, to have that word of reassurance, then for sure you are caring too much about what other people think. And why this is a reason for not trusting yourself? Well, you cannot be focused on trusting people and trusting yourself at the same time. You have to choose. If there are voices from the outside, from the society, from culture, from your peers, from your colleagues at work, from whomever, influencers on the Instagram, that tell you that you're doing something wrong, then how on earth you want to trust yourself that you really got this, right? And we are being taught from early childhood that we do something wrong all the time. You are a child and tell you, no, you shouldn't do it this way, you should do it that way, this is better, you are wrong, you have so much to learn. And then later we start outsourcing this because we are afraid of mistakes, right? And when you are a child, you're just like, oh God, they will yell at me, so I better do it this way. And it grows into a habit. And later in life, you have your smartphone with the access to the internet or just your laptop, and there's all the time someone telling you what you should do, telling you how you should cook, telling you how you should dress, telling you how you should look, like your appearance, how you should do your makeup, how you should bring up your children, how you should clean your apartment, organize your cupboards, how you should run your business. Okay, I will stop because I could go on forever, right? But it really gets into your head and you internalize these voices. And when you look out and listen to all these people, it can really paralyze you to make your own decisions that would be informed by what you want, but what you feel is valuable to you. And you see now how this relates to not trusting yourself. This is really one of the strongest factors that keep people stuck in not trusting themselves and constantly giving their power away to everyone outside, accept of themselves. And people readily reach out for their phone to ask a question before they can even think. This is such a strong habit, and maybe you're doing this as well, that you think of a question and before you sit down and reflect, how can this be done? How can I do this? You get your phone and you Google for answers, right? At the same time as you do it, you invalidate your own capacity to be able to come up with creative solutions by yourself. And you got this. We all have absorbed so much information through our lifetime that we have so much more knowledge than we give ourselves credit for. And the younger generations are even less capable of tapping into that creativity, tapping into that sense of wanting to come up, wanting to solve, wanting to experiment, and having that inner drive to do things my own way, because they've been exposed to these invalidating voices from the internet, from their smartphones, from so much earlier than, for example, I was. I didn't get my smartphone until I was 30 years old. I know I look very young, so just do your maths if you are wondering about my age. But it is really something that is dangerous. No matter how harmless you think it is, we as people have given power so many times to these external voices. And this will lead me to the second point, to the second reason that really makes you doubt, that really makes you lack trust and belief in yourself. And you will see how the first one really is influencing this one as well. So the second reason why you lack self-trust is you are in your head a lot. You are overthinking constantly. You are thinking about how you can do this, how you can do that. You are second guessing. Then you take it back, whatever you decided, and you think, oh my God, it was stupid. I will change it. I will do it differently. Why this is a source of lack of trust? Because of just what I said. The overthinking mind that you are experiencing non-stop, that makes your head just so tired and your body exhausted, it is really a set of voices that you've internalized from the outside. So just as you care about what the external people are saying, the ones that you can see and hear, the overthinking is a result of having experienced so much doubt in the past, having experienced so much invalidation in the past, having experienced so much judgment in the past towards your ways, that you started doubting. You stopped trusting your intuition, that you stopped trusting your knowing. Let's take a child, okay? Let's take a child. How does a child learns to walk? Does anyone have to show the child, here is how you put your left leg, here is how you step your right foot, and this is how you stand. No, now you have to straighten up. We don't do these things for children, right? There is this inner imperative, there is this inner authority that leads a child to know exactly what to do. It knows that when it falls, it has to get up, it pushes itself with its hands, with its arms, and tries again. It doesn't check on Google how to walk, right? There is inner knowing in us that tells us how to do most of anything. And even if we have to look for answers, if we have to look something up, there is so much more that we can trust only if we validate this. When you get into your head, you are constantly doubting your own ability to solve the problems that you have creatively and from your own ways. Your head gets you in the state where you are always comparing yourself to everyone else just to keep you safe. So you see, it is a self-protecting mechanism, but it's kind of outdated at this point. This is outdated because we have so much more power. But at this point, after so many years, maybe decades of overthinking, second guessing, doubting, and all that, you have lost that link that informs you from within, from your body, from deeper, about what your intuition would tell you what to do. Because you've been, out of touch for so long. At the same time, when you are in your head, you are out of touch with your body. And this is the second part of this point where I can't not say it. We become disembodied when we are in our heads. And what it does, we lack the connection to following the guidance that comes from our bodies. We fail to follow the sense of our intuition and our feelings, our emotions, that, by the way, we are probably wanting to escape if we are in our heads. And people commonly escape into their heads just to avoid the discomforts that come with the fluctuations of different feelings. Because, as you know, these sensations can be very uncomfortable, and it seems easier to go into your head that, it offers you so many answers, right? It's got all the answers to everything, but yet it keeps you miserable. So it just wants to convince you that it's smarter than the body, and it pulls you out of body, it pulls you out of the present moment. It makes you feel like you are on edge all the time. So body, when you settle in, when you can tap into the body's talk, as I call it, the inner talk of your body, the wisdom that it can feed you through intuition, through the feelings, through the sensations. This state that I just described in the body, that settled, grounded state, is the space that creates awareness for you to come up with creative solutions that sometimes are quite spontaneous. And I always give this example because it works for everyone. It's universal. You could be overthinking the whole day about a problem you have and not come up with a good solution. The minute you go to take shower in the evening, I bet you have a lot of insights. All of a sudden, you have all the ideas you didn't think of. You create connections, and the relaxed state, feeling in your body that comes with the water touching your body. So the embodied state does something for you to activate this spontaneous intuition, inner tuition, as we call it, that teaches you spontaneously from within. It can bypass all the logical ways you decided that might be good, that you have to revisit in your overthinking, but it offers you something completely different. And I'm sure you have experienced this in your life. So the overthinking, the being disembodied, is what makes us lack self-trust. It cuts us from self-trust, because trust is built by the embodied state of self-connectedness, of connection to oneself, of being able to rely on your senses. And this is what makes the whole difference in creating trust, in creating security, in creating certainty. Even when you don't have one logically, it allows you to really settle in and, have these solutions, come up with these solutions. Trying to come up with graceful, creative, innovative solution for your problem when you're overthinking is just as good as trying to paint a picture with a murderer running loose in the same room. Just create that image in your mind. Just imagine this. You're trying to paint a picture when a guy with a knife is running around the house. What do you think is the success rate in this situation? This is basically what you are doing to yourself when you get into your head and have that high activation of trying to escape something, of constantly trying to come up of the frightened situations of the problem that you might have. It's basically the same kind of scenario, but internalized. And the murderer in your room when trying to paint a picture is, for me, always by far the best analogy of the overthinking mind and trying to come up with solutions. So I'm just saying. Now, the third massive reason to why people don't trust themselves is they don't do what they promised themselves they would. And this is so common because of the first two reasons that I gave you, the overthinking and the placing power, placing authority on others, looking out to others for a solution. You might be constantly second guessing the promises you have given to yourself. But breaking a promise that you gave to yourself is really adding another layer of invalidation to your life, because you once promised to yourself and now you invalidated this. You give yourself a sign that you are not worthy of keeping that promise. You give yourself a sign that it doesn't matter. What difference does it make, right? So imagine yourself a child and someone made you promise maybe that they will come and see you at a show. Maybe you were a dancer, maybe you had a little play that you were taking part in, and someone that promised to come to your show, they didn't. Or maybe they were supposed to work on the project with you and you were left to yourself. How did that feel? Didn't you feel like your trust was broken? Didn't you feel like you were disappointed by that person? Didn't you feel that maybe it told you something about you? Maybe you drew a meaning that you don't matter. And I'm pretty sure some of what I just said are bang on point, because it is just a human experience that we have. And if you felt like that as a child with an external person failing you, this is the same exact dynamic that you're doing to yourself when you don't show up for yourself, when you don't keep that promise that you once gave to yourself, your younger self, coincidentally, because this is something in the past, even if that was a week ago, even if that was yesterday, now you are breaking this promise. And that part in you that hoped for this promise to be realized is disappointed. So you see, there is a lot of inner dynamics that we create. And when there is an inner conflict, it needs to be resolved. When you have a habit of invalidating yourself, it most likely came from the experience of being invalidated from someone in your past, from someone who invalidated you externally. And this is just as painful to carry on doing the same thing in your life right now. It has basically the same effect. Now it is also adding new layers of disappointment, self-betrayal, invalidation, adding more to low self-worth. And this baggage is really hard to carry if you want to trust yourself. Now, how can you change this? Because you can. And when you trust yourself, the feeling is so beautiful. It feels like you are stronger by each day. And it's something I really wish for everyone to experience. I started by saying how the external voices, whether it's someone really standing in front of us and telling us how we should be, how we shouldn't be, and all these things, or whether these are voices that you heard maybe so many times as a child and you just internalize them in your head, all these are really the weakest elements in your mind, the weakest elements that you have to look out for. So you really need to catch yourself in the moment when you hear them. So create that level of self-awareness. And this is where your body awareness comes in. This is where feeling embodied and grounded and relaxed comes in. So I really recommend to all my clients, and I teach this specifically, how to become grounded, how to settle all that dust from all the voices, internal and external, to settle in the body. And you can do it in so many beautiful ways that are possible. You can meditate daily. You can do a self-massage. You can do some deep exercise that connects you with the sense of groundedness. It can be like dancing barefoot. I dance every single day. It feels really good, and that really keeps me grounded through my feet into my body. And every time it feels like a refreshed state. After that, you can do some body shaking. You can do all different ways to keep yourself grounded, but you know, they are so simple, and in simplicity there is big power. So through that grounded state, you will be much more aware to be conscious about all these voices that are sneaking up to your head and that are invalidating you, that are telling you all the ways you are not good, that you are unworthy, that you're doing everything wrong, that you are basically a failure and you will not amount to anything. Or maybe they tell you that you should push harder, that you should just work more, that whatever you're doing is not enough. And all these voices are just a result of what we've internalized from culture, from people. The grounded state will create the space for you to say, do I want to agree with this bullshit? Do I really want to listen to that? Do I really want to exhaust myself even farther and overwork? And this is like the space when you interrupt and when you can say, yeah, this is enough. This is enough of this nonsense. This is enough. And from now on, I'm telling how it is, right? So you create a grounded state from your body and you stop the overthinking for a moment. And this space is enough for you to make up your own mind, to decide by your own authority on what to do next. This is so empowering. You can't believe. Over a course of time, when you do it, you will see how it builds up, how it compounds to more confidence, to more self-trust, because you become self-reliant. You listen to what you say and you do it. So this is the next level, right? You decided by your own authority what you want to do and you do it. And you follow your own imperative. You follow your own decisions. You follow your own sovereignty. You say how it is and you validate this. And you will see how day by day, week by week, this adds up to so much self-trust and exponential power that you create inside of you, that after a while you will stop listening to other people. You will start seeing the nonsense behind this. You will be even put off by this, and the voice, the fire inside you that you've rekindled, that light will be beaming much stronger, right? It is really like a muscle you have to develop over time, so it becomes more audible, that you can really feel and perceive it. And for that, yes, you do need to examine what are the invalidating voices. You do need to check in with yourself, look at your past beliefs. I recorded a masterclass, a whole masterclass on YouTube on beliefs that you can watch, how to really examine and resolve this, how you can validate your own intuition. And even in the last episode, I was talking about the one single advice I would have given to my younger self, that was specifically following my intuition and validating myself. So you can also go back and listen to it, because these are priceless lessons that have given me so much power, so much wisdom. For example, everything that I share here are based on my own insights. There are not things that I read somewhere. There are links, there are reflections that I created in that space of examining, of asking myself, of validating, of listening to my emotions, of being in touch with my body. And these are the same things you can have as well, because it's not for special people. There is no such thing. We are all human beings that once have been cut off from that fountain of wisdom that teaches us, that nourishes us, that guides us to be taking the best choices. And then we don't have to listen to anyone else, because their choices are their choices. If there was one universal way of doing something, wouldn't be all people doing the same thing and succeeding? Would there be still so much suffering? No, there is no one way of doing things. That's why you need to listen to yourself and trust yourself. When you validate yourself, as I speak in so many of other episodes, you grow this unmistaken unwavering sovereignty, autonomy, and you become so much stronger than, the richer people, the more successful people, the people with bigger houses, the people with more clients. Whatever you've been chasing, you become stronger than that. You stop caring about any of this because your success lies on your values, and your success is built around your needs and your desires, and it doesn't look the same for everyone else. I've created, for example, a big sustainable success through Instagram, the first business that I had, with like 600 followers. Don't let yourself be told this bullshit from all the influencers, all the people that want you to act in a certain way. Everyone wants you to act the way they do, right? And they brainwash you. And that's why I started this channel. That's why I started this podcast, to give you your power back, to decide for yourself, to give you back your autonomy, to give you the tools that put you back in touch with your own sustainable fountain of truth. And then you don't have to listen to anyone. Then you don't have to even listen to me. I only want to pass on what I've learned so that you can become self-reliant. Now, if you want guidance on how to align to that wise fountain, to that core self that you can really trust, make sure to download my free guide, and you can access it from the description of this episode. It's full of explanation on how most people lead their life based on survival, and align yourself to the state of self-trust, to knowing how to follow your inner guidance, and aligning to your core higher self. And I'm planning to start offering a free gathering soon. So if you download this, you will also get information and updates on the development of this project. It will be a free gathering circle where you can ask me any question you have on monthly basis, and you will get answers. Whatever is on your mind, whatever is troubling you, whatever guidance you need for practices to get you where you want to be, this will be there. So make sure you download the free guide so that you get these updates in the near future. I'm so excited about this, guys. And if you are now ready to tackle your own challenges, if you want some serious help, you can also reach out for one-on-one coaching, and you can find a way to contact me in the description of this episode as well. For now, I hope it has been informative. I hope you have more than enough ways to get you on your self-trusting journey. For now, thank you for watching, for listening, and I will talk to you next week.